Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we've recently had a balance patch, and I don't think we're going to be getting one anytime soon. And I get asked a lot of times what cards are safe to craft, all that stuff, so I thought I would make a video going through the 17 absolute must-craft cards from the Year of the Phoenix. That means from the last two expansions, Ashes of Outland and Scholomance Academy, and primarily going over this year so that these cards won't be rotating in the upcoming April year and should be relatively safe to hold on for quite some time, and at least for now appear that their power level will be incredibly high, unless of course, you know, the next set comes out and knocks these cards out of relevance. But anyways, I wanted to give my recommendations for what the 17 best must-craft cards are, and I'll give my opinion about whether it's good in Standard and Wild as well when we evaluate these. So starting off at number 17, we have the Prime Minion for Paladin, McGurgle. It's a 2-mana 2/1 Murloc Divine Shield, and then you shuffle the Prime, which summons 4 random Murlocs with Divine Shield. This card sees a lot of play in Standard and in Wild. Play it in Standard in like Pure Paladin, even in the like Penflinger Paladin you could put it in there, but regardless, it can fit into like any Paladin deck in Standard. And in Wild, the Prismatic Lens Paladin deck rolls around here and there. Can see play in that. Pure Paladin and Wild as well. Just a very solid all-around minion that has definitely seen a lot of play since it's been introduced, and is a relatively safe craft if you want to play Paladin. For next, we have Canrathat Ebenlock at number 16. This is the Warlock Prime. You shuffle into 7/6 priming to your deck for 8 mana, and it summons 3 demons that have died this game. Very powerful. In both Standard and Wild. Standard Zoolock, it's been a key figure in there, and that deck has still been alright despite the Dark Glare nerf. And in Wild, of course, discard Warlock, loves this card. You cheat out a lot of early demons. You can resummon Doom Guards, things like that later in the game. Some cube lock lists run it just for that extra value bomb. It's just a very solid, good Warlock card in both formats. At number 15, we have Sociologist Malicia. It's the dual-class Warlock in Demon Hunter Legendary that works off the Soul Fragments. Only really good so far in Demon Hunter, but that deck is very powerful and very strong in Standard. Is one of the only... There's not a lot of decks with a top plus 50% win rate at High Legend, but it's one of them, and it does a lot of good work, and this card is crucial in that deck. But in Wild, this card, I have never seen it see play, and I don't know if it ever will, so if you're a Wild player, you might want to stay away from Sociologist Malicia. At number 14, we have Sphere of Sapience, the neutral weapon. 1 mana 0/4 weapon. You get to tutor your draw, so you get to see what your next draw is. If you don't want it, you can draw another card. This has seen a lot of play in Wild and Standard. Standard mostly like in Turtle Mage from what I've seen, and in Wild, Turtle Mage there as well, but also decks like Reno Priest have run it, Malagos Druid have run it, other type of decks that are combo based and just want to find specific cards. It's very powerful, very versatile. Just letting yourself kind of tutor your draws can be really good. I mean, not necessarily tutor it, but, you know, get a, double dip on your draw every turn. Can be a very powerful effect and can be very good in those type of decks in both Standard and Wild. At number 13, we have Grayheart Sage. This is a 3-mana 3/3 epic for Rogue, that if you have a stealth minion on board, you get to draw 2 cards. This has been basically a staple in every aggressive Rogue deck in Standard right now, whether it be Stealth Rogue, Weapon Rogue. Only like the Secret Rogue version doesn't typically run this, because they don't run the stealth minions, but other than that, very good card. 3-mana draw 2 with a 3/3. It's Arcane Intellect with a 3/3 body. Is very powerful, very good. In Wild, though, doesn't really pop up much, so again, if you're looking for your Wild collection, you're not really playing this in Odd Rogue, Kingsbane Rogue, any of the real powerful Rogue decks there, so again, don't really need to craft this in Wild. Speaking of that, we have number 12 is Shadow Jeweler Hanar. Same vein, really good in Standard. Mostly in the Secret Rogue deck, but that deck's very, very powerful, very good. And you can't really play it without Shadow Jeweler Hanar. Like, just getting infinite secret value can be ridiculous, and it's cheap, hard to remove, and can just solo games on its own. But again, in Wild, kind of doesn't really work out so well there. Doesn't really fit into the good, strong game plans there. So again, you can dodge this if you're playing Wild. At number 11, we have Razfrost Whisper. This is a dual-class Shaman and Mage card. 5 mana 3/6, and it deals 1 damage to all enemies, and if you have spell damage, it scales up. It's been a staple in like small spell mage and some other mage decks like that. I think it's popped up in like Turtleists here and there. Very good card in mage. I think even a Highlander mage runs it too. It's just very solid. Like it's Despicable Dreadlord like Warlock had, but with like better upside. And just very powerful. In Wild, though, haven't seen it pop up, so it's yet another card that's pretty powerful in Standard that you won't really need to pick up for Wild. Number 10, we have Soul Mirror, the legendary removal spell for a priest. Basically, will summon a copy of your opponent's board and they'll attack. And it can be really good. You can clear a board, you can get your own minions and like heal them up and do all sorts of stuff. It's just very powerful. One of the best tools that Priest has in Standard for removal, and sees play in basically every single Priest deck in Standard. It's just auto-include super powerful. In Wild, you don't really run it. You have Psychic Scream. You just have better options, so you don't really need it. But some people do run it. I've seen it pop up. But overall, this is more of a must-craft for Standard yet again, but very powerful card. Very good. If you want to play any Priest in Standard, you definitely want this in your collection. And number 9, we have Evocation, the legendary mage spell. That's 1 mana, and it fills your hand with random mage spells, and then they discard at the end of the turn from your hand. Super powerful in both formats, Standard and Wild. Whether you're playing small spell mage in Standard and you're just, tempoing it out with Apprentice, or you're playing quest mage in Wild, whether it be Reno quest mage or regular quest mage, you can complete your quest with this one spell alone, or just kill your opponent depending if you have a Flame Waker on board. Insanely powerful in both formats, ridiculously good, and wouldn't be a card that I would be shocked to see one day nerfed maybe to 2 mana to get around people getting so many of these for free off of these 1 mana spell generators. At number 8, we have another mage card, Astromancer Solarian. It's the mage prime minions, a 2 mana 3/2 with spell damage, and you shuffle the prime into your deck, which is a 7 mana 7/7, deals 5 spells at enemy targets if possible. Incredibly powerful card in Standard. Like, you play this, it can automatically win the game so many times. The spell pool in Standard is just ridiculous. You have like Deep Freeze, Power Creation, a lot of good secrets. You can generate value, draw cards. You can Potion of Illusion, get another prime. It's just crazy good. And in Wild, it sees play. Whether it be in like Reno Quest Mage, regular Quest Mage. I tried it in Turtle Mage. It's actually not that bad there either. And regular Turtle Mage and Standard runs it too. It's just a ridiculously good card. You will probably never ever regret crafting Astromancer Solarian. Super powerful. If you're playing Mage, you kind of want Astromancer. At number 7, we have Demon Hunter Legendary and Kane Sunfury. 4 mana 3/4 minion with charge, and all minions get to ignore taunt. Very good in Aggro Demon Hunter, and also Soul Fragment Demon Hunter. Just really solid. It's a staple in Demon Hunter. You get to ignore taunt. It can just be a tempo card. It can be removal. It can be a lot of good things, and it's just very powerful. It's already been nerfed once, but still very powerful. Want to play any Demon Hunter? Aggressive, a little bit more long-term base. Kane is definitely an amazing choice to craft. At number 6, we have Lorekeeper Polkelt, the neutral legendary. It's a 4 mana 4/5, and it reshuffles your decks from most expensive to cheapest. So in Standard, we've seen this play in like Turtle Mage. You make sure you draw your Tutorial Rings right away, which is very powerful, so you can start comboing people. I've seen it in Face Hunter, so you just start getting like Dragon's Bane, Kill Commands, Animal Companions, Eaglehorn Bow. Even in Reno Hunter, just so you guarantee draw Bran into Varanus, into all that good stuff. It's just, there's a lot of flexibility in Standard and very good. And in Wild, it's exceptionally powerful, especially in Reno Priest, where you ensure you get Raza, Anduin, Psychic Scream, Reno, like the best cards in your deck. And Turtle Mage in Wild likes it too. And there's other decks I've seen it. Even Shutterwalk Shaman, I saw it, because you get Shutterwalk and then Grumble and all that. Like, it's very powerful and will only get better as more cards are added to the game. So definitely a safe craft in both formats. At number 5, we have Dr. Krastenov, neutral legendary. It's a 5 mana 4/4 rush. It gives your weapon +1/+1 when you're very good in any weapon deck, whether it be Bomb Warrior in Standard, Weapon Rogue in Standard. You have Odd Rogue in Wild. You can put it in Kingsbane and Rogue in Wild, Bomb Warrior in Wild. It's just very good. It's a proactive weapon buff, which is incredibly powerful. And if it somehow doesn't get answered, it keeps infinitely scaling your weapon, but very unlikely to live. But very good craft. Definitely sees a lot of play in Standard and Wild. You will not go wrong if you want to buff up some of your favorite weapons in Hearthstone. At number 4, we have Secret Passage. Recently nerfed, but still incredibly powerful. 1 mana draw 4. Turns out is still very good in both Standard and Wild, whether you're playing it in Secret Rogue, whether you're playing in Weapon Rogue, Stealth Rogue, any Rogue deck in Standard. All the Standard decks run it. Why wouldn't you? It's ridiculous. Same goes for Wild. Odd Rogue, Kingsbane Rogue, very powerful card. Really, really ridiculous. And yeah, you might have disenchanted it due to it being nerfed. Well, you might want to recraft it because it is incredibly powerful in every single rogue archetype that I can think of that's not based off some jank combo in Wild, you know, like Malagos Rogue or something, you know. And then number 3, we have Lord Barob. It's a 3-mana 3/2 dual class legendary for Paladin and Warrior. Sets all minions' health to 1, and then he has a death rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions. Ridiculously good in Warrior in both Standard and Wild, whether it be Bomb Warrior, Egg Warrior, and in Wild you have it an Odd Warrior. Dead Man's Hand Warrior, incredibly powerful. And even some standard Paladin decks have seen run it, like the Pinflinger deck I've seen run it. The Pinflinger Libram deck runs Lord Barov, and it's just super good. This is going to be in like every Warrior deck that's not like super face-based until it rotates. It's so ridiculously broken for a Warrior card. And Paladin, it has some uses, but definitely can't be used as well as it is in Warrior. And number 2, we have Jandice Barrov, the other Barov. This is a dual class card for Rogue and Mage. 5 mana 2, when you summon 2 random 5-drops, you get to choose one that dies. Incredibly powerful tempo play. In either Mage or Rogue, you can Shadow Step it in Rogue, you can Conjurer's Call it in Mage, and it's really good in Standard and Wild. I haven't seen a ton of it in Wild, to be fair, only in like Odd Rogue, but I think people are sleeping on this one. I think you can put it into more Wild decks and it'll do some good work. But definitely in Standard, both Mage and Rogue love this in a lot of different decks. Whether even Turtle Mage have seen run it. You just can't go wrong with Jandice. She's super good, ridiculous stats, and the high rolls you can get with like an Earth Elemental can just soul-crushingly win the game on the spot. And then at number 1, we have the Monster Druid card. Well, I guess it's more of a beast. But anyways, it's Guardian Animals. This card has been OP since day 1, is yet to be nerfed. And yeah, you summon, it's 7 mana, you summon 2 beasts from your deck that cost 5 or less, and you give them Rush. So you know the deal in Standard. You play this, you get out a Twilight Runner, you get out your Teacher's Pet, and you know, you win the game. You can play the Thresher, get a Cleave, you can play Survival of the Fittest and buff this stuff up. It can be incredibly powerful, really good, and you know, play it on turn 1, in theory, if you got Coin, Innervate, Lightning Bloom, whatever. You can do all the stupid things. It's really very strong, and in Wild too. Incredibly good in Wild. Jade Druid's now running it. I'm running it Togwoggle Druid. It's just good because, you know what? In Wild, you have Witchwood Grizzly. You can throw that in there instead of Teacher's Pet. That's a 5-mana 3/12 taunt. And, of course, Twilight Runner is the strong beast. It draws you 2 cards. So you get the, you know, you take 2 out of your deck and draw 2 more. It's just incredibly, incredibly powerful in both formats. If you want to play Druid in Standard or Wild, absolutely need to craft Guardian Animals. It is an absolute beast. Pardon the horrific pun. So let me know in the comments below, did I miss any of them? Are there any that you think are must-crafts or these aren't must-crafts? But I thought I'd give a little bit of my advice now that we've a little bit of time separated since the last balance patch. And you know, these cards should be pretty safe for quite some time. They're not rotating into Wild anytime soon. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Just a friendly reminder, about 65% of you guys are yet to sub. So if you feel I've earned your subscription today, I would really appreciate it if you hit that button. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.